Welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be creating a Matrix inspired freedom kind of image like the one shown on screen at the moment. It's been inspired by Matrix, which was a sci-fi film all about the subconscious and the human body and the human mind. Okay, so let's get straight into the video. The start image is available for download in the description box below. Please download it and load it into Photoshop. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all the layers so I have the exact same start image as you. So here's the start image. Now before we go any further, it's really important that we reset Photoshop. So I'm going to go Windows, Workspace, and I'm going to go to Reset Essentials. Now this learning tab has arrived, so I'm going to minimize it by moving it to the right. I'm also going to, under my move tool here, these four arrows, I'm going to right click and hit reset all tools and hit OK. That way your Photoshop will look the exact same as my Photoshop on the screen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer which the background is going to go onto. So I click new layer down here and then I just double click it and call the layer green. Now in this green layer, what I want to do is I want to get my foreground color over here to be a green, dark green tinge, and I want my background color, which is currently white, to be also a sort of dark greenish tinge like that. Now what I want to do is I want to put these two green colors onto my image here on this layer by going to the gradient tool. Make sure up here it's going from the light green to the dark green, and then I just want to click at the top and drag down, and that should put the greens on the screen for me, and I'm very happy with that. The next step is to start putting the zeros and ones in. In order to do that, I'm going to first create a group here. You notice I've created a group, and now inside that group I can just hit T for text tool and click in there, and what's now happened is I've got my layer inside this group folder. Now I'm going to make sure that my foreground color is white, and I'm going to choose the size to be 72. Now at the moment the writing is going from left to right. I actually want it to go up and down, so I'm going to click this icon here to make the writing go up and down, and then I'm going to put a whole bunch of zeros and ones in just like that, just because that's great computer speak. So now I'm happy with that, and I can use my move tool to move it over to one side of the screen. Now before I go any further, I want to put some effects on this text layer. So I'm going to double click it, and then I'm going to come down to my drop shadow, and I'm just going to play with my drop shadow settings here. The distance, you can see it, we can change the distance of the shadow away from the writing. I kind of like it about there. I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Command and J and duplicate this layer a few times. Now it is a bit confusing because there's a lot of layers here, but do bear with me. Now I'm going to come up to my move tool. I'm going to click auto select layer, and then I can just grab different layers and move them around in a random fashion like this. And that looks kind of cool. I'm liking that. Now what I can also do is I can select a layer and go Command and T and change the size of it, make some of them really big, for example. That would look kind of cool. And let's choose this one over here, Command and T, change the size of that one as well. Let's go a little bit bigger like that. So what I'm trying to do is try and make it a bit more random. Now some of them I can click, so I can click this bunch here, and I can apply a filter to it by going filter and then blur and then Gaussian blur. Convert it to smart object, hit OK, and you can see how that's blurred that one up. Let me choose another one. Let's go for this one here. I'm going to go filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur again. Convert to smart object. This time it's too much blurring, so I want to reduce the blurring a little bit more to see the actual writing. Can you see the writing here? Make sure that your preview is on. I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit OK. Now over on my layers palettes, it's got really confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up to the top, and I'm going to click this icon here, and this makes all my layers inside that group just appear as one group here. Now what we can do is we can work groups at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click the group, and I'm going to say duplicate group, which is here, And do be careful, it's very close to the delete group, so I'm going to hit duplicate group. I'm going to hit OK. And now what I can do is I can come to my move tool, make sure that auto select is on, and this time instead of layers I'm going to go group, and now I can move. Now I've got 2 of these here. Fantastic. Same thing again, right click, duplicate group, OK, and then with my move tool I move them along, right click, duplicate group, OK, and with my move tool move these along and keep going like that. I'll do one more, right click, duplicate group, OK, and then I'll move it along like that. So I've got some random zeros and ones here. Now occasionally this happens when you're trying to move something, you grab a background layer, that's okay, just hit Command and Z to put the green back to where it was. I'm really liking that. The last thing I need to do is need to get all my groups and just compress them into one layer. So the way to do that is to click the first group and then hold down Shift and click the last group. Make sure that you don't have the green, it's just the groups. And then you want to hit Command and E, and what this does is it compresses it all into one layer and it's much more manageable to work with. Okay, so I can move that around a little bit if I want to. I'm kind of happy with the way it's looking. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the background layer, which is the girl with the tied up hands. Command and J, I'm going to move it to the top of the layer stack. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click down here and choose a blend mode, which looks really good. You just choose one which works for you. Anyone will do. This one looks quite good. I'm liking that one a lot, which is hard light. So I'm going to select that. And the final thing that I want to do is I want to write some text in white along the bottom, which is to do with freedom or some other suitable word. So the easy way to do that is T for text tool. Click down here. I'm going to write my freedom. And at the moment it's very small, so I'm going to go Command and T. Make it much bigger, too big. Press enter, and I think we'd also need a drop shadow on this one, so it's double click and we choose our drop shadow just to give it a bit more texture. And I'm going to stop there. Right, I hope you've liked today's video tutorial. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Please also remember there is a playlist of other tutorials which are designed to help beginners become really good at using Photoshop. Please do click the icon on the screen to go and have a look at some of those tutorials now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.